Hi guys, it's Crossy of Eclipse Gaming TV. 2 videos in 2 days. Yes, it has happened. It's a rarity, but I've had a bit of an opportunity to record some stuff, so I decided that I was going to take it. And this time it's going to be a video that isn't gaming related, so maybe this isn't for you, or maybe just a bit of content and talking about something aside from gaming is something that you're up for. So fingers crossed, we'll see how this one goes. So as a little bit of an introduction, I started playing drums 12, 13 years ago, something like that now. It's, time's flown by, so that's been my thing. But the drummer was never the one to get the girls. So about 3.5 years ago, I decided that I wanted to start playing guitar. Shortly after doing that, I got a girlfriend that is going to be the one that I'm going to marry. So in the end, the quest for girls was very short-lived, and I haven't really taken full opportunity of that. But it's stuck with me, and I've kept going, and 3.5 years later I'm getting lessons. I'm still not that great really, which is why this video isn't going to involve any playing. I'm going to save you the agony of having to listen to that, but I did want to show you one of my guitars. My guitar collection did get out of control, as is often the case, and at one point I enjoyed owning and collecting and buying guitars more than I did actually playing the things, which isn't the best way to do it and is a very expensive way of doing it, and that's changed now. As I'm improving as a player, I'm finding that the guitars that I want are changing, my needs are changing, and I think because of this one, which I've got in my hand, a few of those that I've collected are going to start going out the back door and appearing on eBay sooner rather than later. Now, there's a company called Crimson Guitars who are based out of Dorset. They're not one of the main players like Fender or Gibson, and some of the stuff they build, it's what you class as, I guess, boutique or custom shop, and they end up going for £4,000-ish, that kind of price range, and you can get literally anything that you want. And there's some crazy stuff on there, guitars made out of copper, like aged rusted copper on the top, and little chunks of copper put together in like a jigsaw Frankenstein type thing. Lots of crazy stuff going on at Crimson Guitars, and I've been watching their videos for a long time. Love the stuff that they do. Produce some of the most beautiful instruments that you're ever going to see. And I've been thinking, alright, how am I going to own one of these? Because there's no way I'm going to drop $4,000 or anything remotely close to that on a guitar, given my playing ability. So the opportunity came up to pick up this from their Raw series. So they've got a few series, which is the 1 series, which I think is actually disappearing now because they just couldn't produce the guitars for the cost they were selling them at. The Raw series, which is this, where they take bits of wood that, if you go and buy one from the mainstream, would never, ever in a million years appear on a guitar, and then make a guitar out of it. There's one that I've got a series of where there's basically a chasm out of this guitar, out of this bit of wood that they put copper rods in to stabilise it, and then copper on the inside, and they look absolutely ridiculous. It's basically got a chunk out of it, but because these guys know what they're doing, they're building something that's very stable and will last for years and years. I will link a couple of videos that have been made about this particular guitar, including the one that gave me the inspiration to go and buy it and say, yes, I want that one. I fired off an email as soon as I saw it, and it comes from the bodywood. Now, this is the guitar. It is a Crimson Raw Series Descendant with a polar bear inlay, which I'm covering up. I've ruined it. I've ruined it. So, as you can see here, I'll try and catch it in the light. I've got a polar bear inlaid into the 12th fret. And this, there's a video to it, so I'll link you to the video on the Crimson Guitars YouTube. Not the easiest way to see it in this light, but it's made up of little pieces of abalone and mother of pearl of different colours. So as you catch that in the light, you get different kind of looks and finishes, and it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen on a guitar as a piece of art in itself, and the videos will do it more justice than I can here. Big reason for that, to be honest, this helped me get through with the girlfriend, because the first present I bought her for her first Valentine's was a stuffed polar bear. She's massively into her animals. It's starting to rub off on me, and the polar bear is kind of part of it. And it's carrying on a bit of a fire and ice theme. if you like, with this guitar. Now, main reason for that, and the main reason that I jumped on it, this body, not sure exactly what wood it is. I think it might be hemlock, but we're not 100% sure. But this wood came from the timbers of an old fire station that got torn down. And Ben, who's the main guy behind Crimson Guitars, took a body made out of this wood from an old fire station and took a blowtorch to it and burnt it. Now, in the theory behind that is that it crystallizes the sap in the wood, which makes it stable, because moisture can be a bit of an issue as far as guitars go, and if the moisture levels up and down, then you can get like the wood can move around and warp and that sort of thing. So by doing that, it makes it super stable, and then it gets brushed away with a wire brush, and this is flooded with guitar finishing oil, which is a product that they issue. And yeah, I mean, this thing looks great. You get plenty of light on it, and it's got like a bit of a brown hint to it. You know, in other lights it looks pretty much black. It's not, well, by raw series, it's not one of the most beautiful pieces of wood that you're ever going to see on a guitar in theory, but you know, it's got so much character that it does make it probably one of the most beautiful guitars I'm ever going to own. The way it just catches the light, you know, all the character of the wood, it's perfect. So this was the reason that I bought the guitar. The polar bear idea came along a little bit later, but the neck is the highlight, which I will show you now, whether the camera will pick it up or not. So the neck is the highlight, the main feature of this guitar. This is the money shot. Flame maple, which is again blowtorched in a similar kind of way to the body, and then the oil is put onto the neck while it's still warm. Soaks right in, and this thing feels absolutely outstanding to play. Really, really nice. And then a feature of Crimson Guitars, they match the back plates for where the switches and the electronics are with the same wood. So if you've got a lighter body and a dark wood neck, then the two combined, you get a real contrast. With this, you don't really have as much of a contrast, to be honest, but it's the same burnt flame maple, which makes up the covers. Really, really good stuff. As for the specs of the guitar, so we've got one volume, one tone. The body shape that they offer, the Descendant, it's basically an offset Telecaster. The Telecaster is my favourite guitar of all time, mainly because of the simplicity of it. And oh, I've just flicked off of that, so I can't see what I'm doing. So there we go. So offset Telecaster, the electronics have the same kind of simplicity. Three-way switch up here, and then one volume, one tone. It's not push-pull, it's just, you know, volume and tone. So no quarter split, which I wouldn't use anyway. We've got a hip shot bridge, which is strung through the body, proper hardtail. The pickups, so these were wound by Crimson, a guy called Luigi, who was working there at the time, who, as they say, was a bit of a genius and came up with these sets of pickups. I had a conversation with Ben for what I wanted to get out of it and what my idea for pickups were, and I said, how about like a 50s Les Paul PAF style thing up here, and then similar kind of thing in the bridge. Sorry, I had to go for the cough button, but a little higher output, a little more treble in it, a little more hot rodded, and that is exactly what I got. So we're not got screaming Eddie Van Halen stuff, but you know, this thing's got a bit of life in it, this bridge pickup. I may do a playing demo at some point when I'm feeling a little more confident, but maybe not for the time being. So we talked about it, probably a hemlock body or something like that. The neck wood is ebony. The neck profile, it's kind of like a modern C shape. Think sort of regular Strat, not too thin, not too thick. I tend to prefer thinner necks, but you know, having played this, I've really gotten used to it. The strings are NYXLs from D'Addario. I go with 9 standard tuning, nothing out of this world there. The tuners are Goto's, and they are open back tuners, so you can see the cogs in them, but you know, very good piece of kit, nothing to worry about there. And that is pretty much it. So I would highly recommend that you guys check out Crimson Guitars. The prices of things are starting to go up a little bit, mainly because for an instrument of this quality, you know, to produce them at some of the costs that they have been, it's crazy. This is an absolute steal, how I managed to pick this one up, and well worth it. When you see the video for this inlay in itself, the amount of legwork that's gone into just getting that polar bear in there, which was an optional thing that I added in. Crazy, crazy stuff. But yeah, I mean, these burnt guitars, this was the first one that came out of the series. It was a prototype. It's now a production run, so you can approach Crimson Guitars and get a burnt guitar. So you can get one in the Descendant, a bit like this, I believe. I think I've seen in some of the videos that they've got a Path version, which is basically a Les Paul shape, or a little more Les Paul shaped than you would normally expect, but not quite the same. Really good stuff. But yeah, get in contact with the guys, and they are well worth checking out if you want to get a really good guitar. This is the nicest guitar that I've played in terms of playing wise. It's the nicest sound wise. So yeah, I think it's time for a bit of a clear out, because why would I... It's tough to want to play anything else when you got something like this sitting around, and you know, I always pick it up and have a play. So easy to use, sounds great, you know, best sounding that I own as well. So you know, it's making some others or most of the others surplus to requirements, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I have too many. They're taking up space, and we're looking to move house at some point. I don't really want to be carting 27 guitars with me, which is all good fun. But yeah, a little bit of an experiment. I haven't got the time or the... Yeah, it's basically time to run my own full-time vlogging channel, so I would maybe use this to put up the odd video that isn't gaming related. Hopefully you guys are interested in that, so let me know in the comment section if you're good with this. If it ends up being fairly unpopular, well, it's not going to happen very often. Probably not going to happen very often anyway, to be honest, but yeah, just something that I wanted to throw out there. So hopefully you enjoyed, and it means you get 2 videos this weekend from me, which is rare to see any real action at all. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching, and catch you next time.